I think you have to remember there's Marx isn't kind of a single data point. His work is something, it evolved over decades. He wrote millions of words in books and journals and articles in newspapers and lots of correspondence. And there's kind of, as well as people often talk about a young Marx and an old Marx, but there's also Marx the political agitator and Marx the journalist and Marx the economist. And the one that is often forgotten is Marx the historian, and that's really who I'm trying to bring out in this book. He's not a historian that looks at the past and just says, oh, look, here's a collection of things that happened. Isn't that interesting? He's somebody that tries to put them together and understand the meaning of what's happening and to work out the processes that drive social change and historical change. And I think that's why this is important, because if we can take lessons from how we got from feudalism into capitalism, that might help us understand how we're going to get out of capitalism into something better that's going to come after it.
Which, of course, Rosa Luxemburg was fully aware of.
Sure.
I remember, I mean, you talk about the British, where they were in the stage that, 1600s versus 1900s Russia. But, what about, you mentioned Paris Commune. I mean, what about the French Revolution and how much of that was an inspiration? Were the conditions similar in France to Russia when the revolutions went underway?
Similar, I think, yes. And I think if you look at what happened in England in the 17th century and France in the 18th century, the revolutions there, which kind of inspire a lot of people today. Actually, these were revolutions that overthrew feudalism and introduced capitalism. And so that kind of goes with my approach to say, well, actually, that's really what's happened in Russia through the Soviet era, is the overthrow of feudalism and the introduction of capitalism, even though no one in the Soviet Union wanted capitalism, obviously. They weren't trying to lay the foundations of it. But the things that they had to do to respond to the crises they faced led to those things being put in place, according to Marx's kind of checklist of things you must have before capitalism. The Soviets put most of those in place. So I think there are similarities there. Obviously, the ideology was different. There was an intention to overthrow feudalism and to introduce kind of bourgeois ideology and bourgeois equality from France in 1789, whereas in Russia they were not at all trying to do that. They just ended up putting those things in place.
Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube, and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on thenomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.